All right, everyone out there covering the Asian World Cup qualifiers. Another episode of the ISB show. I'm your host, Sahil Rahi Roy. Instant reaction to the Indonesia match. We'll be coming back later with a video that'll cover all the Asian World Cup qualifiers, but we had to do this for our Indonesian fans out there. It was an exciting match. A lot of Indonesians, in the stadium make the trip. And guys, sometimes football is a cruel sport.
We were ready to celebrate. Roy. We were ready to jump up and down with the Garudas, and it wasn't to be, Roy. It was not to be.
Yeah, maybe you all could guess, I'm not Indonesian, but for some reason, I'm watching this game and I feel as if I'm from Argentina. And I feel as if I'm watching Argentina. The emotions I feel watching, how badly I want this team to do well and to win and to qualify for this World Cup. And we all went into this game with tremendous hope. It's against the weakest team in the region. It's an Indonesia that is firing on all cylinders, tied every game, hasn't lost a single game. And it didn't happen today. It was not a good game from Indonesia. It was a very difficult game from a viewer's perspective. There was a lot of mistakes. There were some poor performances across the field. And my heart hurts. My heart hurt, guys, because it could have been.
That was tough. I mean, there was only one moment to celebrate. I was at the office and I kind of jumped up for that Hagel because I thought that was it. They were going to come back. But it's different because they dominated possession this game, right? It's very different than what they're used to. Dominate possession, but didn't do a lot with the ball. Really didn't.
Yeah, that's what gets hard. Sometimes you play these matches and you have the ball so much, but it's very important to be clinical, and not only clinical, do something like you said with the ball, because that one goal that China had, Roy, let's talk a little bit about that moment, because that first goal was a goal that should not have gone in. And I don't know, as a defender playing defense, you got to make sure that ball is out before you kind of let it go in that situation.
That was tough, man. Who was the defender? Was it Patiyama?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it happens. This is what happens when the pressure is so high, when the expectation, because I think this is the first game that there was expectation to win. It's the first time in this tournament, it might be the first time in a long time, that the Indonesian national team has faced a team in World Cup qualifiers and have been expected to win. So that kind of pressure is hard for players who aren't accustomed to that on the international stage. And I felt it was just a mental mishap. It was a decision that the player made. He made a bad decision. It led to a goal. And it was pain. It was very painful to watch.
They were more solid in the second half, I thought. But the first half, it was really disappointing to have such a big opportunity, and they really didn't play well. And they were soft defensively, right? We've talked about what's made them so good in these early games is how solid they've been at the back. And they were the opposite.
That's what happens sometimes when you play a team, where you're expected to win, and you think, okay, some of the fundamentals that was so apparent against Saudi Arabia, against Australia, even to be honest, against Bahrain away, you're when you're so solid defensively, right? And then you kind of let it go a little bit, right? In moments like this, because you think, okay, we're so obsessed with going and trying to find a way to win the match, score the goals and all that kind of stuff. Let's talk about the positive a little bit, right? Which was, of course, the goal that came in the last few minutes. Nice goal, right? Tom Hay, good finish.
The substitutes were positive, right? I think Tom Hay should start. I saw this as well in some of the early games. He's very solid in the midfield. He brings some calm, some presence. His distribution late was good. He's the one who gets the goal. I mean, it's a bit lucky off the deflection, but he was in and around everything they were doing. And for me, he just brings this calmness, right, that I didn't see in the first half. And then Marcelino as well was exciting, but a little bit missing that final ball, Roy, for me.
Yeah, I thought the substitutions were great. And listen, I'm sure everyone watching could tell our mood is a little bit down. We're a little bit quieter than usual. We're not yelling. We're not jumping up and down because, the team we wanted to win did not win and did not come out in the way we expected. But something we have to realize is this happens to every team. They underperform against a team that is not as good as them. Indonesia is a much better team than China. Indonesia played better than China. Indonesia outpossessed, outshot, out everything China. And this is what we have to realize. These games will happen. There are more games in this tournament. We discovered today that Japan is tieable. A weak Australia team tied Japan today. This is something that Indonesia could look forward to, play a team that is better than them on paper and come out and have a phenomenal performance. But yeah, today I felt Indonesia played down to the competition. But the good thing about this is Indonesia is a good team. We've seen it. The norm in this World Cup qualifying campaign is Indonesia is a good team at last. And Indonesians should be absolutely proud of this team. I hope this doesn't lead to anyone turning against this team because they're going to keep fighting, man. Like I keep saying, this is a group of warriors. Indonesians are warriors. Aku cinta Indonesia, guys. You know what that means. I memorized it for you all. But it's going to turn around.
Your Indonesian gets better and better every time. I'm so impressed. Very impressive. I agree with you in this sense. I think they were the better team in a lot of ways. They have the better players. They were just outsmarted today, I thought. The Chinese had a good game plan, and it worked very well. But here's the other silver lining, Roy. Look at the table. So Indonesia still sits above China because of goal difference. They're only a point away from Bahrain. In theory, let's see what happens with Bahrain and Saudi Arabia. But to be honest, it's still wide open. And the worst thing that this team could do would be to give up or to lose hope at this stage. There's so many games to play. Yes, you have Japan next at home, very difficult, but you have a lot of home games to come, right? You have Saudi Arabia at home, you have Bahrain at home. These in front of the home fans, that support, it could really be pivotal for this team moving forward.
You guys make a really good point. Yeah, China at home. You guys make a really good point. There's a lot of football left to play in these World Cup qualifiers. We're not even halfway through, right, this round. So keep that in mind, Indonesian fans, because yeah, you're going to get China at home, you're going to get Bahrain at home, and then like you said, Roy, it's about nicking one of these matches against a team that's superior to you. You've done it twice with 2 draws against Australia and Saudi Arabia. It'll take maybe one more here or there, and then you have to take care of business. But okay, let's finish here, guys. So moving forward for this team, Indonesia, I know it's all doom and gloom out there right now in Jakarta, all over the country in Indonesia. But what do we want to say to all our Indonesian fans after this disappointing match?
Go home, have some nasi bungkus, eat some food, relax, enjoy yourself. It's okay. It's not a good result. It was not a good performance, but there's still time. The team looks like it's improving, looks very good. They need to learn from this, and let's see. And the encouraging thing is, aside from Japan, there's very few teams in this group that are unbeatable, right? Yeah. So everyone's slipping up. This is going to happen, and we're going to see when it all shakes out how we end up. So have a good meal, enjoy yourself, have some juice, have some soda, relax, kick your feet up. It's still early days, Roy. Still early days.
Still early days. A lot of home games coming up. Saudi at home, Bahrain at home. You got China at home. So this is very promising. And everyone in Indonesia, never forget, kamu adalah pejuang. You are warriors. This team is filled with warriors. And though they didn't show it today, maybe the pressure of expectation got to them. It's the first time they felt it in this tournament. This team's going to bounce back strong. And they're going to surprise people. And that's what I'm waiting for. And keep the hope. Keep the hope alive. It's a long campaign. And I am really hoping 2026 World Cup will have Indonesia in there.
Yes.
Yeah. So Indonesian fans, the sun will shine another day. Let us know your thoughts on the match. And we will be back. We'll keep covering your team, of course. And see you all next time. Best of luck.
Let's start Tom Hay.
Let's start him. Yes.